All right, now we know, 3 days away, that's when the Supreme Court is going to rule one way or the other on this whole health care law. A lot of healthcare stocks are already signaling a decision. It would seem shares getting rocked today, from insurance firms to hospital companies. There are a number of ways to read that. Here's how a lot of investors are reading it, that apparently the decision will mean healthcare costs will just keep rising and rising and rising as Republican congressmen and doctors. Tom Price worrying. What they seem to be saying, Dr. Congressman, is that with or without this law, up, and away we go.
Well, with or without, as long as true reforms aren't put in place. Look, what they're saying is that this bill, this law, didn't do a thing to affect health care costs other than to increase costs. And that's what we know. The affordability is getting worse for individuals. The accessibility is getting worse. So what we need to do is to regardless of what the court does, the status quo is unacceptable. We need to make certain that we repeal the entire bill and then move forward in a logical fashion.
But what if the court only junks the mandate provision?
You got the whole thing has to go away, because it's
I know you said it, but if it's only the mandate thing, it's a big chunk of it.
Sure.
You argue it's still like a Frankenstein, right?
It is, because the whole premise of it is that Washington knows best. When Washington knows best, then business doesn't know what's going to happen. They don't know the rules of the game. And that's why you need to make certain that we repeal the entire law and then put in place patient-centered care to get more folks covered, increase the quality, and increase the accessibility to care.
So what is your read as a doctor if the court does only the mandate thing? Let's say junks it. That's a consensus opinion, always dangerous, I guess. But then you still have it in place, right?
Well, you've still got the $500 billion out of Medicare. You still have the Independent Payment Advisory Board in place. You still have the employer mandate in place. A lot of the bad things that decrease the ability of physicians to care for patients will still be in place. That's why you got to do away with the whole thing and put in place patient-centered reforms.
Flip it around then, Congressman. What if the court validates this and keeps it?
Then I think what we will see is across the land, again, 60% plus opposed to it will rise up and with righteous indignation appropriately and say in November we're going to make certain that we put in place a Congress.
But legislatively it would be very tough to do, right?
Well, not after the election.
So you think?
Yeah, the election is going to result in a Congress that's going to be responsive to people. The American people don't want this kind of health care. They don't want Washington telling them what kind of doctor they have to see or must see and what kind of health coverage they must have, and consequently we'll move in a positive direction. I'm very optimistic about the future.
What would it mean for us, those who go to your waiting rooms, your old waiting rooms, and how will it make life different for us? I mean, let's say the court upholds this, and I've always argued, well, get more chairs in waiting rooms because you'll be waiting longer. Well, but what are we likely to see?
Every principle that you hold dear as it relates to health care, whether it's accessibility, whether it's affordability, whether it's quality, whether it's choices, all of them will be violated, are violated by this law. So the costs will go up, the ability to see the doctor that you want to see will decrease, the quality of health care will diminish, and your choices will diminish. Again, that's why the majority of the American people are opposed to this law and why we will ultimately...
Well, depending on the poll. You get weird polls on this, but could I ask you just your sense of now we're learning after the fact that Joe Biden, among others, warned the president, don't go too crazy on this health care thing, and other advisors said it would almost certainly be constitutionally challenged. What are we to learn from that?
Well, I think what we're to learn is that the president may not listen to his advisors to the degree that he should. May not listen to his political colleagues to the degree that he should. And he will rule the day? And he will rule the day. Because the American people, again, know that they want to be the ones selecting their physician. They know that they want the small businesses of this country, they want to know that they have certainty in the area of covering their employees with health coverage. And right now they don't. And so it's even harming the economy in that way, harming jobs.
All right. Congressman, very good seeing you.
Thank you so much.
See how it all sorts out. Well, no matter who wins it, when it comes to the economy, do